3 years ago, Marcus and I decided to drive from the city to the coast. We'd been planning it for months in the way that people plan things. They're not sure they'll actually do half-serious conversations. Loose dates that kept shifting, a shared notes app with a list of places to stop that neither of us had fully committed to. Then one Thursday afternoon, Marcus called me and said he'd booked 2 nights at a place near the water and we were leaving Friday at 10. That was Marcus. He'd been my closest friend since we were 19. The kind of person who gets tired of planning and just acts. I envied that about him, usually. We loaded the car around 10:30 later than planned, which was also very Marcus, and pulled out onto the highway with the windows down and music up. It was mid-September. The air still had that last warmth of summer in it, that particular smell that makes everything feel like it's worth doing. For the first 3 hours, everything was unremarkable. We talked about his job, which he was unhappy with. We talked about a girl I'd been seeing, which was going nowhere. We stopped at a gas station around midnight, filled up, drank bad coffee from paper cups, and kept going. It was around 1:30 in the morning when the GPS told us to take a turn. I want to be precise about this because it matters. The route we were on was a main highway. 4 lanes, well lit, regular road signs. The GPS. Marcus's phone, mounted on the dash, had been routing us correctly the entire time. And then, around a stretch of road I didn't recognize, it recalculated. It told us to take exit 44B. Marcus took it without thinking. We were both tired. The exit looked normal, a standard off-ramp that curved down and away from the highway into what appeared to be a connecting road. But within about 2 minutes of taking that exit, everything changed. The road narrowed. 2 lanes became 1. The streetlights disappeared. The GPS signal flickered twice, and then the estimated arrival time simply vanished from the screen, replaced with a dashed line that meant it had lost the route, Marcus said. And I remember this clearly. That's weird. That was all. We kept going. We told ourselves we'd reconnect to the main road in a few minutes. That these things happen. That the GPS would recalibrate. It didn't. I need you to understand what this road was like. Not frightening in an obvious way. Not horror movie frightening. Just deeply, quietly wrong. It was narrow enough that tree branches occasionally brushed the sides of the car. The tarmac was old, cracked, with grass pushing through the edges in a way that suggested it hadn't been maintained in a long time. There were no road markings, no white lines, no dashed center line, nothing. But the road was clear. No debris, no potholes serious enough to slow us down. It curved in long, gentle arcs, as though it had been designed for a specific destination. We drove on it for about 25 minutes without seeing a single other vehicle. No headlights coming toward us. No taillights ahead of us. No buildings. No farm lights. Nothing. And then Marcus said, "Is that a light up ahead?" I looked. It was. The diner sat alone on the left side of the road. There was a gravel lot in front of it with 3 cars parked in it, old models, though I couldn't have told you the make at the time. A neon sign above the door buzzed with a dull orange light. The name on the sign was a single word: Celia's. The windows were lit from inside. I could see movement through them, the suggestion of figures, shapes. Marcus pulled into the lot without discussing it. I think we both needed the same thing. Confirmation that we were still in the world we recognized. That there were other people on this road. That we hadn't somehow driven ourselves into the middle of nowhere irreversibly. We sat in the parked car for a moment. "Open at 2 a.m., Marcus said. "Some places are," I said. We went in. The interior was what you'd expect from a diner built sometime in the middle of the last century. Vinyl booths in faded red. A long counter with fixed stools. A pass-through window to the kitchen. Checkerboard floor, linoleum, the kind that's been cleaned so many times the pattern is wearing away at the center. There were 4 other people inside. 2 men sitting separately at the counter, both with coffee cups in front of them. An older woman in a booth by the window, hands folded on the table, not eating, not reading, just sitting. And behind the counter, a woman in a white uniform who I assumed was the server or the owner. They all looked up when we came in. Not sharply, not with alarm. All 4 of them turned their heads at exactly the same speed and looked at us with expressions that were, and I've spent a long time trying to find the right word, patient. Like they had been expecting us. Not recently. For a long time. We sat at the counter. The woman behind it, 50s, dark hair pulled back, name tag that read Celia, came over and placed 2 menus in front of us without being asked. She smiled. It was a normal smile. That's what made it strange. It was too practiced. The kind of smile that doesn't involve the muscles around the eyes. Marcus ordered coffee. I ordered the same. Celia moved to the coffee station and I leaned over to Marcus. "This place is strange," I said quietly. "It's 2 a.m., he said. "All places are strange at 2 a.m. He was right. I told myself he was right. The coffee came. It was good, unexpectedly good, rich and dark. We drank it and the warmth helped, and for a few minutes I felt almost normal. Then I noticed the photographs. The wall behind the counter was covered in them. Old photographs, framed, the kind of black and white images that belong to a specific era. Groups of people. This diner, clearly, in an earlier time the counter recognizable, the checkerboard floor, the pass-through window in the same position. I looked at them the way you look at photographs in diners. Casually. With mild interest. And then I stopped. There was one photograph near the center of the wall. 6 people standing in front of the diner, outside. 4 customers and 2 staff, posed in the stiff way people posed in old photographs. Formal. Deliberate. I recognized one of them. Not in the way you recognize someone you know. In the way you recognize someone you are currently looking at. The woman on the far right of the photograph, dark hair pulled back, white uniform, was Celia. Not a relative, not a woman who looked like her. The same woman, the same face, the same way of holding her shoulders slightly forward. I looked at the bottom of the photograph, written in small text below it, Celia's Diner, opening day, 1974. I looked at Celia behind the counter. She was watching me, still smiling. I didn't say anything to Marcus immediately. I told myself there was a rational explanation. Daughter who took over the family business. Remarkable resemblance. Old photographs can be deceiving. The resolution is low. The contrast flattens features. I turned my eyes away from the photograph and picked up my coffee cup. Marcus was looking at the man sitting 2 stools down from him. The man was perhaps 60 years old. Gray hair, weathered face, large hands wrapped around his coffee cup. He was staring at the counter in front of him. Not moving. Not drinking. Just holding the cup. He had been in exactly the same position since we arrived. Marcus caught my eye and tilted his head almost imperceptibly toward the man, the way you communicate without words when you're trying not to be noticed. I looked more carefully at the other people in the diner. The second man at the counter, also not moving. Coffee cup in front of him, also untouched. The old woman in the booth, hands still folded, eyes open, looking at nothing. None of them had moved since we walked in, not shifted in their seats, not looked out the window, not lifted their cups to drink. They were completely, perfectly still. I picked up the menu. I needed to do something with my hands and my eyes. It was laminated, the kind that gets sticky with age. 3 pages of standard diner, food, eggs, sandwiches, burgers, Pie. Prices listed in small type. The prices were wrong. Coffee, 35 cents. Eggs and toast, $1.20. Slice of pie, 75 cents. I stared at the menu for a moment. Then I turned it over. On the back, in the corner, in small print, menu current as of March 1974. I set the menu down very carefully. "Marcus," I said. My voice came out lower than I intended. "We need to go." He looked at me. "What? Right now? We need to go right now." I stood up. I put money on the counter. I don't remember how much, whatever was in my pocket, and I walked to the door. Marcus followed. I could feel him wanting to ask questions, and I was grateful he didn't. I pushed the door open and stepped out into the gravel lot. Behind us, I heard Celia's voice, calm, pleasant, carrying perfectly through the diner. "Drive safe," she said. "The road gets a little strange after mile marker 9. We got in the car. Marcus started the engine. He reversed out of the lot without a word. I stared ahead. Neither of us spoke until the diner's light disappeared behind a curve in the road. Then Marcus said, "Okay, what just happened?" "Did you see the photographs?" I said. "The woman behind the counter," he said. "In the old one." "Yes." "And the prices on the menu?" "Yes." Silence. "And the people," I said. "The way they weren't moving." "I saw," Marcus said. He was driving faster now. The trees on either side of the road pressed close, and the headlights barely reached far enough ahead to feel safe. "Mile marker 9, I said. She said the road gets strange after mile marker 9. We watched for markers on the side of the road. There were none that I could see. No standard green highway markers. Nothing. "She knew," Marcus said quietly. "She knew we'd be driving on. She knew which direction we came from." "We never told her where we were going," I said. "No," he said. "We didn't." We drove for another 15 minutes. The GPS still showed no signal. The road remained the same, narrow, unmarked, surrounded by black trees. And then the headlights caught something on the right shoulder. A green marker post. White text, 9. Marcus slowed without me asking him to. We both stared at it as we passed. The road beyond it looked identical to the road behind it. Same tarmac, same trees, same darkness ahead. Nothing happened. We drove past it. 1 minute, 2 minutes. Maybe she was just Marcus started. And then the car's temperature gauge spiked. All the way to red in under 10 seconds. The engine warning light came on. Marcus pulled over immediately, killed the engine. We sat in the dark on a road in the middle of nowhere at 2:45 in the morning with a car that had just overheated for no reason. "This car has never done that," Marcus said. "Not once." "I know." We waited 20 minutes before trying the engine again. In those 20 minutes, we sat in silence and I watched the tree line, and I tried very hard not to think about the fact that the diner was 15 minutes behind us, and if we had to walk back. The engine started. Temperature gauge normal. Warning light gone. We drove in silence for another 40 minutes. The road eventually connected to a larger road. The GPS found its signal. We were 60 kilometers from where we should have been in entirely the wrong direction. We reached the coast at 5:30 in the morning. We didn't talk about it that weekend. Not properly. The way you don't talk about things that don't have a shape yet. When I got home, I looked for the diner. I searched the road we'd been on, or as close as I could reconstruct it from memory, and the GPS data Marcus had saved. I searched for Celia's diner in that county, in surrounding counties, in old business listings, in archived local newspapers. I found one result. A small item in a county newspaper from November 1974. 7 lines. It reported that a roadside diner called Celia's, located on a rural road outside a town I won't name, had been closed following the disappearance of its owner, a woman named Celia Marsh, along with 3 regular customers who had last been seen at the establishment. No further information, no follow-up articles, no resolution. The diner, according to the article, had been operating for less than a year before it closed. The road it sat on had been taken off county maps in 1979 due to what the record described as lack of use and maintenance. A road that officially no longer existed, a diner that had been closed for nearly 50 years, and 4 people sitting inside it who had not moved while we were there. I've told myself many things since that night, that we were tired, that the mind plays tricks at 2 a.m. on dark roads, that there are rational explanations for all of it. The photograph, the menu prices, the temperature spike, the road that doesn't appear on maps anymore. I've almost believed it. On good days, I almost believe it completely. But here is the thing that I cannot explain away, no matter how hard I try. When we were leaving, when I stood up and put money on the counter, I looked at the 4 people in the diner one last time. The old woman in the booth by the window. She was looking directly at me. She had turned her head. The first movement any of them had made the entire time we were there, and she was watching me go with an expression I have spent 3 years trying to describe. It wasn't threatening. It wasn't angry. It was the expression of someone watching a door close. The expression of someone who had been waiting for a very long time and had just been told they would have to keep waiting. She looked, more than anything, like she was sorry she couldn't leave with us. I think about her sometimes, late at night when I'm driving alone. I think about the road that doesn't exist anymore, and I think about what Celia said as we walked out the door. Drive safe. Not goodbye. Not thank you. Not come again. Just drive safe, like she already knew we would. Like the only thing left to be determined was how the road would treat us on the way out. I don't know what was in that diner. I don't know if the people inside were trapped or waiting or something else entirely that I don't have a word for. I just know that we got out. And I know that every time I'm on a highway late at night and the GPS tells me to take an exit, I don't recognize I keep going straight every single time.